It was full, but I think streaming.
I can't believe you're not on the YouTube. Got any of the cool stuff?
I'm not on what?
Oh, what a shot.
But, yes. And it's recording. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Get your dollar bills ready, guys.
That was perfect. That's the intro right there.
Oh, man.
I don't think he even knows. Nothing.
I don't think so.
Not one bit. Nothing. But
man.
Well,
What happened?
Welcome to the mostly fan. Welcome to the Mostly Fans podcast.
Mostly fans.
Mostly fans. Actually, the way that thing started off, you probably thought it was gonna be like the only fans. So you're starting off straight.
You guys have like a perfect. Oh, you never mind.
Sanders gives it to him. Touchdown, Buffalo. Wow. How simple can it get? Savion Wilkerson marches it straight into the end zone. Beautiful job by the right side of that offensive line. And how about that block? And that was Bishop Thomas.
You just got out of the league. You got banned from Japan.
Korea.
Kind of tell everyone, like, even what I'm talking about. Like, I know you got drafted first round in, was it 2009 or 10?
12. Yeah.
It was 2009. 12, okay. And kind of tell us how, like, what you've been up to till now, I guess. And we'll kind of tell our stories.
Yeah, well, I guess, you reach back to 2009. So I got drafted in 2009 by the Texas Rangers. Asked for, third round money, and they didn't want to give me that, so I ended up going to college. Went to Radford University, played there for 3 years, had a couple of really good years. Went to the Cape, and so from there, I got exposure and seen by a bunch of scouts, and was able to build up a following by them to see about getting drafted. And so, after my junior year, I was looking at being a potential first round pick. And so, we had talked about trying to actually go to the draft live in person. And, I got everything set up to go do it. And then 2 days before, I got a phone call from MLB saying, hey, we're not sure that you're going to be drafted. We don't want you, to be sitting there and basically be publicly humiliated if you don't get drafted in the first round. Which, I was perfectly fine with doing if I didn't get drafted. I still wanted to be there for the experience, but we ended up, doing a different thing. We went to a local bar with AJ Gators and hung out with a bunch of friends and family. And then, my grandparents were the ones that ended up setting that up for us, and, come around to, the 40th pick or so, and I get a phone call from the Rockies, and they're like, hey, we're looking at you here for our next pick. Are you interested in signing for slot money? And at the time, my grandfather was starting to fall asleep and getting ready to head home. And so I looked over at him and said, hey, you might want to pay attention here next couple of picks. Something might be brewing. And so, finally the Rockies pick came up at 46, and I got drafted, and the whole bar went crazy. We had a great time. Enjoyed a few beverages,
Was it drinks on you?
No, it was not on me. No, my grandparents set everything up, man. They took care of us, and that was awesome. We got, like I said, we had the whole bar to ourselves. Just had a great night.
So this is getting kind of personal, but how much do first round picks for Major League? Because I know you got a stepping stone for NFL and stuff like that. I mean, that's more public, but no, I don't really think it's public knowledge on how much first round picks make in signing. Because I know it's the same because y'all have to go through single A, double A, triple A, and so on. But kind of how's that?
Yeah, so it goes, even the first round's like a very, very big difference from, first overall pick to the last pick in the first round, which is usually, in the 40s and 50s. Your first round pick, I think the year I got drafted in 2012, was somewhere in the $7 to $10 million range. And then it drops off drastically after that. A couple $1,000,000 for each of the next 2 or 3 picks, and then where I got drafted, I ended up signing for $1,000,000, and that's great and all. And all of a sudden people are like, oh, you signed for big money, you got drafted in the first round, this and that, and they're asking for things, and but yeah, so they're all asking for this and asking for that. But yet you go out and you go to rookie ball, and rookie ball they're paying you $1,100 a month, and you're playing for 3 months. So you're like, I just made $3,300 of actual pay. And then the following year you go to single A, and you're like, I'm making $1,150 for 6 months. So you're like, I'm making less than $7,000. Like, what are y'all making? Come on now.
So what happens to that $1 million signing bonus? Where does that money go? If you go to rookie ball making $1,100 a month, is that $1 million? Like, where does that go, and how does that work?
Do they write you a check, or is it like segmented out?
It's segmented out, but a lot of it goes to the government.
Well, tax.
Yeah, Uncle Sam want this portion. So, I basically I ended up making 54%. So quick math, obviously 540,000. Like 54% is what I was able to actually put in the bank.
So they got you really good with the tax to rich philosophy.
Yeah, they got me. But yeah, so for me it was broke up over 2 years, and so I lost a bunch that way. But yeah, man, like when I was coming up through the minors, and we had it good compared to previously, but I mean we still weren't anywhere near making what minimum should be, like minimum wage for a normal person working at McDonald's or Burger King or something like that. Like those guys are making more money than we were.
Yeah, I heard it's brutal when it comes to like single A, double A, and triple A. Like they pay you nothing.
Yeah, like I said, I was making $1,150, I think, in single A, and luckily for me, like I ended up getting a host family that I was able to live with, and they didn't charge me any rent or anything like that. They took care of us, but a bunch of guys, went out and rented apartments. So I mean, you rent a $900 apartment between 2 guys, that's $450 right there, and that's no utilities or anything else. I mean, that's basically your whole month's paycheck by the time you're, getting your utilities and food and all that. So I mean, it's definitely tough living, especially for guys, that were late draft picks or even like senior signs that, were undrafted. So I mean, I heard a bunch of guys saying, they got $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 from that, where like you had guys that were career minor leaguers that weren't getting paid. Yeah, so I mean, like for myself, I think I ended up after taxes on it like $5,200 or something, like, and that was over 2 years. So I mean, you take a guy who played 8 years, 10 years in minor leagues, like that adds up real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty messed up though, because it's like you have this whole big thing, you make this large pay, and you almost have to like almost learn to like make that last. Did you have to learn how to like to save, or you just like, or you're just young and didn't really know what was going on? So what's it like though when everyone is like, do y'all know like, okay, none of y'all are getting screwed over, like this isn't fair? Like how was that like?
I mean, it sucks. Like, you're getting screwed over, but you don't really have any say in it. Like, to try to argue with the team and say, oh, we need more money. Like, it was nice that finally it was heard. I don't know how it ended up being brought up enough that, a firm took on the MLB, or, how much money that costs the firm for that. But, like, the Players Union doesn't back minor leaguers. I think they just now have a minor league union that was just created due to basically all of this. Yeah, the MLB union looks out for MLB players.
Oh, I gotcha. We can jump into it a little bit more later, but Eddie, I know you just got married. How's that life going?
Actually, it's been great. 9 months today, actually. So
Oh, congratulations!
it's hard to believe it's been 9 months, and we just finished building a house or renovating a house actually, and so we've been moved into there for just over a week now, and um, that's a nice kind of refresher, I guess you could say. It's nice to be able to come home and know that you're home and not living in a little room over the garage with your wife and your in-laws. Well, it's my brother and sister-in-law and their two kids and our two dogs, and it was a crowded house. Like, love them to death. It was, it was nice that we had the ability to live where we did, um, but it was definitely, I was ready to get into our own house and just be able to just live like a married couple, with my wife and our two dogs and our own house, our own space. And I'm building a man cave, which will be where I start hosting more of these podcasts out of, and we'll be able to have all kinds of guys' nights up there, watching games and all kinds of stuff. So, but no, it's been fun, man. 9 months, it's gone by so quick, and it's, I don't know, it's we met, we were engaged early into us kind of meeting, and but it never really changed. It always felt like that, we met, we started dating, we got engaged, and that was all in the span of maybe like 6 months. And so but nothing ever felt like it was changing. It all felt like it was just falling right in place where it should have, And so then the day after we got married, they're like, "Hey, how does it feel?" And I'm like, "It's felt like it's felt the whole time." I said, "It's the happiest day of my life." But I was like, she's the person that, I knew I was going to get married to. So it's just, we're just moving right along with everything we've been doing. It's just, we're just married now, and it was great, but it felt like I wanted it to, and that was cool. So.
Hey, what's funny? So it's funny because I say, like, you proved the point that there's someone out there for everyone, because she's perfect for you. I think it's hilarious. Because I said it like, I was down who he's gonna marry.
And it all happened just out of, like, it's so cliche that people are probably just gonna like hate it. But I remember leaving baseball practice, and one of the parents of the parents of one of the players that I was coaching approached me and were like, "Hey," they're like, kind of a random question, but like, "Are you dating anybody, and are you seeing anybody?" I was like, "No." And they're like, "Well, if you're interested, we have somebody that we think we'd like to introduce you to." And I had no idea who she was. I didn't know a name. I knew nothing. And then, I go to work, and then, a lieutenant from a different shift comes up to me, asks me if I've met somebody, and I was like, "I haven't met nobody yet." And he's like, "Well, this girl's been asking me about you, so if you see somebody, or if she comes up to you, it's probably the same girl." And then Bethany, she approached me, and we kind of got to talking, and that's, I hate to say one thing led to another, but that's essentially what happened. And we were engaged with, my birthday of last year, May 23rd of 21, and we got married December 3rd of 21. So, like I said, things happen quick. People were telling us, "Oh, you're moving too fast," whatever. I'm like, what does that even mean? I don't even know what moving too fast means, because we're both happy. Everything we're doing is, in line with our lifestyles, and it's working. And it's kind of like, if you know type thing. And it was, and it worked out. So, 9 months, man, it's been great. And, I'm just excited to, keep growing and learning, more about being a husband, every day and every month or whatever. So,
well, I ain't gonna tell my whole story, but I just met mine wasted in the bar, so that's my short story.
Whatever works, right? Whatever works. You guys have two girls now.
So God bless alcohol.
Yeah, God bless alcohol, right? Cheers. And Butler, you still drinking?
No, I emptied mine out a few minutes ago.
So kind of to jump into it, like, I was thinking about it because this is like a gambling podcast. We were gambling on the course, just betting each other. Then we went to Rivers. So how did that go? And I mean, did it go good? Did it go bad? Did it go really bad?
My first trip to Rivers, I was with Butler. And were you with us, Tyler? Were you with us on the first trip?
I don't think so. I don't think I came that day.
I don't think you were, no, because it was Matt, Butler, I think a couple other people were there. But the only people I truly remember were Matt, who isn't on this right now, and Butler. And I watched you hit the Buffaloes slot early on us being there. It took you a little while, but you hit it. You hit the jackpot. And then Matt went to blackjack. Yeah, Buffalo. Matt went to blackjack. That's where he spent the majority of the night. And he did. Oh, he was up and down, not doing bad. And then I went in super excited. You know, I've never been to a casino. You know, gambling just got legalized in Virginia probably a year and a half ago or whatever. So I'd never been to a casino, never really gambled before. So I was as green as it gets. You know, I walked into that casino and we bought a beer. We go to the blackjack table and I watched that dealer turn over 20 to 21 more times than I could even count. And I'm like, why would I even sit down at this table right now? I was like, this dealer is just taking people's money. I didn't spend a dime. I bought a beer and I watched Butler and Matt and everybody else play games and play roulette. And I was like, I remember going home and told my wife, she goes, how'd you do? I was like, I bought a beer. You know, I was like, I'll sit around and I'll bet on sports and it's no big deal. Like if I win, great. If I lose, whatever. I felt like I was significantly against the odds when I was watching that casino or the blackjack dealer in the casino. So I didn't sit down, you know, I don't play a lot of cards. So I already felt like I was kind of in a losing battle anyway. So my first trip there, I didn't gamble a penny, which kind of surprised me because I'll sit there and I'll dabble in with FanDuel, DraftKings, what have you, and I'll bet on money lines, sports, all kinds of stuff. So it was a different experience, a different atmosphere for me, being the avid sports gambler that I am. But poker and other stuff like that, I wasn't comfortable with, so I didn't spend a dime. And then I watched Matt as we were leaving. We were walking to the cashier's window, and Matt has a $500 chip in his hand. And there's awesome. An outside seat at the last blackjack table we walked past. The dealer's getting ready to change dealers, whatever. She's about to switch decks, the whole 9 yards. He says, hey, I'm in. He sits at the table, puts a $500 chip on the table, and the dealer deals him 21, and he walks out. He cashes $1,100, and we go home. And the guy, I'll never forget, this guy sitting at the third seat, right at the middle of the table, was just absolutely mind blown that this guy walked in, dropped $500 on the table for one hand, hit 21, took $1,100 to the window, and we went out. Like he's like, you've got to be kidding me! I've been here trying to do that for an hour, and he hasn't hit nothing. And Matt walked up, did it like it was nothing. So that was pretty much how our first trip to Rivers went.
But I don't know if y'all probably, Eddie, I don't know if you've ever been to Vegas, but the difference between Vegas and Rivers is way different. It's like so Vegas, everything moves like in a fast forward button. Like even blackjack, like it's like boom, 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 boom. You played 6 hands in 3 seconds. But Rivers, everything's super slow. Like it's way easier to make money at the one in Portsmouth than it is in Vegas. Vegas is impossible because it's just, I mean, it's not impossible. People do it, but and my first time in Vegas, I made $1,000, and then my last 2 times was in Vegas, I went down a lot. But Rivers is nice because everything's nice, slow, and everything, and you can kind of like pace yourself. I thought so, and I mean I can count cards, so that actually helps too. So
we'll say the second trip we took, we went to the roulette table, and I was like, it took me about 10 or 15 hands to jump in, but But after I started kind of seeing what the wheel was doing, and I jumped in a little bit, and we got up early, and then I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. But obviously didn't get carried away. I only took what I was comfortable losing, so I didn't take a whole lot with me. But it was nice to kind of see your bets turn into some money. So that was cool. But as far as like casino and gambling, and I'm about as a novice as it gets. So whenever Matt can get on here, he can drop a little casino knowledge on us.
I'll tell you what. So we were at the casino the other day, and I didn't realize. I think this is a great strategy. So because this is probably the only thing. Like I do all those things to try to make my odds better, but I don't think anything beats this. I don't think you can do it. Is literally because we were doing the last time we were in Vegas, or not Vegas, Rivers. We would just bet both of these, and you take up 2/3, and it pays out 3-1. So you lose one, but you gain 3. So I was like, that's a pretty smart bet. So because we went up, what was it? I betted. What did I bet? I was up 900, and then I went to 14 and like, what was it? Maybe 30 minutes.
I just remember watching. So Matt and I were at the roulette table. Tyler, you were behind us at the blackjack table, and Butler, you were across from us at the blackjack table. And I look over at Tyler, and he's got a little stack of chips going, and I'm like, oh, he's doing all right. And Matt and I are doing pretty well. We've kind of got a little strategy working to where we're playing the outside a little bit, and we're not doing a whole lot inside, but a little here and there. And we're doing okay. And then I look across the table, and Butler is sitting there like this, just helplessly, just throwing chips at the dealer. Like, yeah, here's another 25 gone, and he did not look like he was having a good time. And,
yeah, seriously, that was an hour of just donations. It's quarter here, quarter there. Oh, I get to double up. Oh, we're in here, and you might as well,
It was like Tyler come over, I'm up 900. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. And like Matt was up, I think almost $1,000. I think at the highest I got was like I was up 200, and just poor Butler, man. Just the look, the pure look of defeat was on his face. Oh, that was.
I'm telling you, the only way to win in blackjack is when the odds are in your favor. Bet big. That was the only time, because I literally I put all mine on one, because I don't care. Count was like +6 or something like that. Something that was in my favor. So I bet what did I bet? I bet like $500. And then I got 11. So I doubled down on that. And I was in that on that play for $1,000, and it hit 21. I went berserk. But still, like, even though that dealer got 20. So I barely made it. So I still think the end of the day. And this isn't financial advice whatsoever. So I had no idea what I was doing. I was winging it.
We're giving everything but financial advice.
Telling stories. This isn't financial advice.
Don't take us for financial advice. We might as well be a charity at this point.
But I know, Perkins, you bet sports all the time. Before we get into that, what is kind of going on in the sports world? I know there's college football starting, baseball starting. What's kind of going on in the sports world right now?
Oh, well, that's a broad question, but if I'm going to tailor it to my strengths here, I'm going to go with baseball. And I guess we could start with the old rookie here, Jason Dominguez. He makes his debut on September 1st, and it was kind of a long-awaited debut. And you were kind of wondering if you'd been following baseball at all since he signed in 22 or 21. He with the New York Yankees. He got off to a good start in the minor leagues, and then as you keep up with the Yankees this year, they're obviously not doing so well. They're battling injuries all season long. The only bright spot really is Garrett Cole. Every time he takes the mound, he just absolutely deals. And Aaron Judge was off to a great start. He injures his toe. He goes on the shelf for months, it seemed like. So then you're like, okay, the Yankees are struggling. Judge is hurt. He's the guy that really fills the seats. They're old, but they're older in terms of player age and all that. And they're at this point, they're just dumping players. I mean, they're releasing guys left and right. And one of them who got put on waivers was Harrison Bader, the center fielder. And that was a little bit of a surprise. At least to me it was. I wasn't sure what, maybe just because they were just trying to dump salaries, just because they were in last place and they're just trying to free up some money. But then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, well, you know what? This Dominguez kid is down in the minor leagues just tearing it up. I mean, he's a career minor leaguer. He had like 1,100 at-bats, batted .266, 36 home runs, 154 RBIs, 86 stolen bases, and you're thinking, you know, what more do you want this kid to do down here? You know, and when they put Bader on waivers, that was my first kind of, I guess, hint that, hey, maybe he gets called up. And they did. And as fate would have it, he takes his first big league at bat is against Justin Verlander, future Hall of Famer, in Houston, and he takes an 0-1 fastball opposite field into the bleachers for his first big league hit, his first big league home run, and that was pretty cool to watch. You know, a guy that's, you know, done pretty well consistently throughout the minor leagues, and finally gets his shot at the big leagues as a September call-up. You know, takes Verlander deep on the first, and then hits his second big league home run tonight off Christian Javier. So he's obviously picking up right where he left off in the big leagues. So, but kind of speaking of firsts, you about to show the video here?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick for everyone. Because I honestly haven't seen it, so I want to see. Let me see. It's in my hand. Oh, here we go. Love the commercials. Good old YouTube.
We know the most important part of the car is
Y'all
the
still with
driver.
us?
I'm guessing because I've never done it. But I did get as a 16-year-old.
Can y'all see the screen?
Yep.
All right.
Here he is in the big league.
Hey, Eddie, I bet you know how that pitcher feels, don't you?
Turning, looking. Welcome to the big league. See ya. A home run for Dominguez in his first big league at bat. First swing.
First swing.
at bat. So Jason
360 feet
first
left field.
First major league at bat last night. Nothing feels.
There you go. So I guess if there's anybody here familiar with what it's like to, you know, have a first in the big leagues here, Butler has a couple of firsts. He's gotten his first big league strikeout. That was what Yasiel Puig is against the Dodgers. He's got his first big league knock. You know, what is you know, if you could kind of talk about, you know, what he's feeling in that moment. What are his family and friends going through in the stands? Like, go through that whole, like, the mindset in the moment of what it feels like for you know, a kid to come up and achieve that first big league home run, or what it's like to get your first big league strikeout. You know, like what's he thinking, what's he feeling, and kind of what is that moment like, I guess, in a nutshell.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's exciting. You know, for myself, I know I was just anxious, ready for that game to be there, ready for that first pitch, you know. And for myself, like, the first pitch almost went to the backstop. Like, I was so amped up and I don't know, I could have even felt my arm or my body or anything else, you know. Everything was just so much adrenaline. That ball almost went to the backstop. And so, you know, next pitch, I get a ground ball to first base and Morneau lays out for it and kind of caroms away. And I give up a triple of D. Gordon. It's like, oh, man, that's good. I get a ground ball like I'm supposed to, and it ends up being a triple. And then, Yeah, he's fast. And then, next guy, I get 0-2, throw a slider, what I feel like is in the other batter's box. And he reaches out and pokes it over, 2-0's head over short. Ends up being an RBI. And I'm like, man, that was a really good pitch. Like, that should have been a strikeout. And it's not. And welcome to the big leagues. But, no, that they did not.
Well, who was your first big league hit off of? I mean, you were a pitcher, which pitchers hitting nowadays is a lost art. It's extinct.
That's not even a thing anymore. It's not even a thing anymore. So I was facing the Reds, and Anthony DeScalfani was pitching, and so we had I think we had one out at the time, and so we were running on first and third, and rather than hitting into a double play, they said, "Hey, we're gonna do a safety squeeze here and just have you move the runner over, and then potentially get your RBI." And so I lay down just a basic bunt, little push bunt to, make the pitcher and the first baseman go field it. And, say we didn't get a good read at third base, so I didn't even get an RBI, but yet I was still able to beat it out and get a knock. But then
you have a batting average now.
I had a batting average, and with all that glory, soon came some serious shame. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I got sniped going around third, and then had a turf monster reach up and grab me as I was trying to score. And so, needless to say, I did not make it to home plate safely.
Yeah,
not to kind of throw a curveball, but aren't they like changing the rules for baseball right now?
Dude, they're changing so many different rules right now. It's unbelievable. The commissioner has a lot of power right now, and unfortunately, the union is not really able to stop it. Right now, the commissioner can basically pose a rule 1 year. The union can say, no, we're not going to play by those rules. And then the next year, he can impose them and make everybody play by them. And so, yeah, go ahead.
So is he trying to like boost ticket sales and make more money or something? Like if he wants to do that, why don't he just make it legal to charge them out? I'd do it.
That would be fun. Yeah. I know guys are like, dude, just let them do steroids. Let them hit balls 500 feet. Like, why not? That was a show.
Screw it.
Instead, we're going to start changing all the rules. We're going to give bigger bases. We're going to put everybody on a clock. We're going to do this. We're going to do that, you can't step off 3 times. It's stuff like that. And that one's like a pet peeve of mine because, my eyesight is not the greatest. And so for me at nighttime, like sometimes I don't see the signs and I have to step off or somebody's going to get hurt. I had times where I was throwing high 90s up to almost 100 mile an hour, did hit 100 a few times. But like, bro, if your catcher thinks he's getting a slider and you just drill him with 95, like he ain't going to be happy. So like, it gets to like a safety concern. And so, now you're going to give up free bases on balks if you step off 3 times without picking the guy off. It's just stupid. And then we got the pitch clock where guys are getting struck out without even seeing a pitch, or vice versa. You give up a walk without throwing a pitch. It's like, this is dumb. You saw Scherzer got the final out in one of his the first inning of a game, and he punched out the side and threw like 9 pitches, but it wasn't the immaculate inning because he got a free strikeout.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Because he was already ready to pitch when the guy steps in the box. He's trying to reinvent the wheel basically. Now they had to recreate a rule.
Yeah.
In spring training, you know what I mean? So I'm an old school guy.
I just don't get it though.
So Tyler, the reason behind it is that for the average fan that doesn't really pay attention to baseball or that just watches it kind of here and there, fair weather type, it's too slow. They get bored. There's not enough action. It's not like football where, you can score on offense or defense. Baseball is more of a game of chess where it's a game of strategies, game of percentages. It's very stop and go, like a play may only last maybe 10 seconds at the absolute longest. Everything else is,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, because even if you're on like social media, like TikTok or anything, you see football all the time, see basketball all the time, but you don't really see much of baseball. But I'm not necessarily sure if that's just because baseball or what MLB's like this ran different. Like I feel like the players don't have control over anything. And you could probably, Butler, you could probably attest to that.
Baseball.
You don't have control over your name, really. Do you?
We have like rights to use your name in any way, shape, or form. Basically, I mean, you see it like it's cool. Like, hey, we're on MLB The Show, but like, woohoo, that does a whole lot of good for us. I mean, you get paid for it, but you get a little portion of it. But I mean, yeah, for sure. Like, they're trying to find a way to maximize money, and so they're struggling with attendance at the games because people feel like it takes too long, and like some of the psychology behind it is like your attention span only lasts about 15 seconds.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why like the number 15 gets thrown around. Like everything was, it needs to be 15 seconds. Why? Oh, well, because psychology says that your attention span is that long. So if you can get action again every 15 seconds, keeps you more engaged.
Yeah, but even there's so much big money in baseball, but they like you see like these massive contracts. Baseball contracts are huge, but you don't ever see like endorsements or anything because that like even like showing it on television doesn't like it's a lot different than football. It's like they don't do it. But I think MLB controls all that, right?
No, it's not controlled by MLB. Like, I mean, I had endorsements with Under Armour and Rawlings and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's always been like a thing because I mean, you think about like the face of MLB for so many years, it was Mike Trout, but you never saw Mike Trout on anything.
No.
And some of that had to deal with like, I think he had a deal set up with the player union where he was solely able to do stuff with them as far as like cards and stuff like that. So you didn't see Mike Trout sign cards very often and stuff like that. So it's where MLB's lacked compared to the other sports is definitely with their ways of reaching out to people, through advertising or whatever. They've missed a lot of branding, I guess. And so now you see more guys starting to brand themselves. I see Schwarber all the time, doing different things, whether it be like drinks or you hear about his foundation now, stuff like that, where 5 years ago that wasn't a thing. Like players are having to self-promote as opposed to the league helping promote.
Because even like the NIL deals for like colleges going to do the NIL deals, you hear about all these like, I mean, you got the girls gymnastics, but you got like even all the football players get massive NIL deals, but you never hear anything about baseball. I don't hear anything about college baseball. I'm not sure if they're getting it or nothing. You hear much about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I mean, I think with that, like, I think baseball's hard to predict who's going to be good too. Like, it's not about size. It's not about this. Like, some of it, and this where like, all these analytic guys are struggling. Where, yeah, on paper, this player should be an all-star. This player should be in the Hall of Fame. This and that. But then you watch them play, and you're like, no, like you can see it. And I think sometimes like that might have something to do with it as well. As far as like NIL is like, it's just so hard to predict who's going to be good and stuff like that. Like you look at Jose Altuve.
I don't think how they do it is smart though. Like, yeah, you go to the like AAA, AA, single A, all that stuff. Well, I mean, let's see, watch this guy in college. He disappears for like years until he finally like even like David Wright. David Wright, we know because he went to Hickory, big stud. Everyone heard about him. Then they died off. Never heard about him. And then finally made it to pros. We heard about him again. So like, I just don't.
It's just got so many levels. There's so much depth in the minor league system, in the all the way down to like your independent leagues and your Atlantic Coast leagues, and there's players can just get lost in that sea of talent that's down there. You have to really kind of carve your own path, I guess you could say, once you get to the minors. I mean, you get drafted. Also, you got to think high school kids can get drafted. It's not like, where you have to go to college for football, you have to go to college for basketball. You can get drafted straight out of high school. And look at Max Clark. He was the number 3 overall pick out of high school in the draft this past year. So, now you're putting 18-year-old in the mix of, these college kids that are already developed, right? These guys have been in college. They've been under college weight programs, college athletic programs. They've seen, decent talent, decent pitching. They've put up, good numbers in college. And so they're a little more prepared to go to the next level versus an 18-year-old who's only seen high school pitching. Not saying that there isn't talent in high school, because there's plenty of talent there, but it pales in comparison to what you're going to see in the college levels and the minor league levels. And so now then you're taking, on the other hand, these kids getting signed out of the Dominican and Puerto Rico and any other, country over there where they're 15, 16 years old. Now they're being introduced into the same minor league system. So there's so much depth that, you really have to, you got drafted, or you might be playing in an organization, but now you have to really find who you are, build your niche, and kind of create your own path. You have to sell yourself and make yourself noticeable. Because as Butler can tell you, it's a business at that point. It's not like you have a bad couple of days and it's, oh, hey man, it's okay, go get him next time. No, we're giving this guy a shot because you're not doing it anymore, and it's, you need to go kind of figure out what's going on. So it takes a little bit longer to climb that ladder, to work through those different levels of the minor leagues, to get the shot, not even stay in the big leagues, to get a shot at the big leagues. Whereas if you're like coming out of the draft for college football, you're not, these kids are stepping in as like becoming day one starters, right? They're coming straight from college to like, hey, we're drafting you to be our quarterback. Here's the playbook. Here's your offense. Welcome to preseason. Let's go. You don't see that in baseball. You don't. And so,
how many professional athletes have we seen that like football player, like, oh, this quarterback got drafted for baseball, but he chose football. Well, if I loved baseball, I'm going to sign football just because I can get lost in the farm league and be completely screwed in a year or two. Or I feel like all it takes is for someone not to like me or what.
Well, here's the other part to that, Tyler. Let's say you're drafted. Here you go. Let's say you're drafted by the Angels and you're a center fielder. Well, guess what? Yeah, you got drafted by the Angels. You play center field. But guess who's playing center field in the big leagues? Mike Trout. So the realistic possibility of you getting called up at any time soon now dwindles a little bit, because now you may be approached by the organization. Hey man, Mike Trout's our center fielder. You're not going to play center field for the Angels, but can you play left field? Can you play right field? Can you play an infield position? What else can you do to where you can
honestly,
help this organization
I feel
win ball games? Huh?
Because obviously we played really good high school teams. We know a lot of people who went to play professionally but got lost in the minors and never heard about them, dropped out. I even know like people who are like professional investors who made $1 million, but they didn't make it in baseball. They got into like getting just quit in minor leagues just because they couldn't take they weren't paying anything, and they were like, screw it, I can't do this.
Yeah, I was going to kind of talk about that, where you were talking about, guys getting lost and stuff like that. And getting back to Dominguez, right? So Dominguez goes out and hits a home run his first game, hits another home run tonight. Like, think about the fact that he's playing for the Yankees right now. Like, that used to be not a death sentence as far as like being drafted by a team, but like when you got picked up by the Yankees, you knew you weren't going to play for the Yankees. Like, the Yankees go out and buy players. That's what they're notorious for. They're going to spend money. They're going to go buy the big names, and they might trade for those big names as well. And so that's why so many of those young guys that are with the Yankees end up elsewhere as trades and free agents and all that. But Dominguez obviously this year gets an opportunity. He was the guy who was in the right spot at the right time. You were talking about he was tearing up the minor leagues, this and that. When is he going to get a chance? Well, guess what? Guys are hurt this year. The Yankees aren't very good this year. They're struggling to put games together. And so, hey, you know what? You're going to get a chance. And so it's kind of amazing that he actually is going to get to do it, as a Yankee, and to maybe make his name as a Yankee.
It was the perfect storm for him, really, because just given the season that they had, and like I said, they were battling injuries all year. They didn't have a lot of upside, much less after the All-Star break and Judge getting hurt, and they started dumping players, and it was more of the perfect storm. It was like, hey, it's a low-pressure season. Come up, get your feet wet in September as a September call-up, and see what you can do. And, well, he's kind of picked up right where he left off in the minors, and he's, like I said, hitting another home run tonight. First one came off Verlander, so it's, he's obviously, he's doing well right now, and you will definitely see him probably in the starting lineup come next season. If they, assuming they move forward with him as their center fielder, since they've optioned Bader, who got claimed by Cincy, but he's, and then go think if Judge can get healthy, there's a little two-headed, tandem they got in the outfield out there. And Dominguez is one of those five-tool guys, man. He can run, he can hit for average and power. He's got a good arm. So who knows what they've got with Dominguez? They've got a top prospect who can perform. Just a matter of if they want to they keep him around or not.
So Eddie, I know you're big in like sports betting. I know like you're kind of doing your whole thing on Twitter. Who do you like? Do you have any big bets you're going to make coming up, or I think both of y'all are more into it? So I was curious.
Well, I haven't done a whole lot this year, really. But it's being a Braves fan, diehard Braves fan. It's hard to not want to put a little something on them to win the World Series. They were one of the favorites coming into the year, who also battled some injuries, and their pitching rotation: Max Fried, Kyle Wright, Ian Anderson. I mean, go back to last season, and those were the guys that were performing, and now all three of those guys got hurt. Anderson, Tommy John. Kyle Wright's still hurt. Fried finally came back, but they had to go find guys to get the job done, and they did. Young talent up out of the farm system. Jared Schuster, AJ Smith-Shawver.
Something you told me before that I think is very interesting. You like to bet, and I think this is one of the. I mean, I don't know if anything's safe bet, but I think this is really smart bet. You love betting on first pitch. I think that's genius. Just because I know baseball not as well as y'all, but I mean, I feel like if you study like a pitcher, you can be able to determine that pretty easily.
So first pitch for me, I dictate more off of the leadoff hitter than I do the pitcher, because the pitcher's throwing one of two things: a strike or a ball. So I look at the batter, more or less, what he does in his first at bat than I do the pitcher. So you take guys like Ronald Acuna Jr., Mookie Betts, George Springer. Those guys are very aggressive. They hunt first pitch fastball. If it's there, they're letting it fly. So for me, betting first pitch, I'm going to look to see who the leadoff hitter is and what he does statistically on first pitches. So obviously strike.
So give me a prediction. So what's an upcoming game and what are you betting? Let me hear it.
Oh God.
Put you on the spot. Let's see what you got.
I haven't even pulled up FanDuel yet.
So who's playing this week?
Oh man, let me pull up FanDuel. Hang on. Let's see what we got. Oh, I got an update. I got an update for this. What? All right.
So you're saying
back.
those guys, Betts, Acuna, Springer.
So
you're more apt to bet that they're going to throw a ball, or you're more apt to bet that
I'm more apt to bet that they're going to swing.
Okay.
And so what I'll do is I'll take I'll go real small. So for me, 1 unit for me is $10. That's my baseline 1 unit bet. So I'll do
doesn't sound very certain.
I'll do like $1 or $2 on the extra base hit, right? Which typically plays out. They're like plus 3,000, plus 4,500, plus 5,000. So if that hits, you could win upwards of like $100. $1 wins you $50 if it's plus 5,000. So, which happens from time to time. But any other outcome, which means if it's a batted ball for a hit, an out, an error, whatever, that's like usually plus 1,200. So
let me ask you this: we would put it down like a couple hundred at Rivers, no shot of coming out successful, and you've hit like a first pitch bets like multiple times. What makes you not want to do at least like $30 or something like that?
It's easy to ask yourself that question when your bet wins, but it's I guess the uncertainty, because it's one of those where you can bet big but also lose big at the same time, and it's the first pitch of the game. So if it's a guy like Sandy Alcantara for the Marlins, Cy Young Award winner last year, I'm probably taking him to throw a first pitch strike. He's high leverage fastball, put away slider. He's not a guy that a lot of guys are going up early swinging first pitch at. If it's like a midweek guy, like maybe a team is they're throwing maybe like a staff day, who I might be more apt to take him maybe for a ball if he's not accustomed to starting, or I might be taking a guy who maybe isn't. I don't usually take as a hitter, a leadoff hitter. I might take him to at least put the ball in play, But when it comes to me betting first pitch, I'm looking for guys that are either pitchers that have a great matchup, like stud number one rotation, like ace of the staff matchup, or I'm looking for a guy like Acuna, those guys that hunt first pitch fastball. I'm looking for them to get one they like and just let it ride.
But Eddie, you played professionally and you played for the Rockies, and I know the Rockies got a game I think tomorrow. So what would you do? Like what when you pitched, was your aim to I'm trying to be first pitch fastball or first pitch strike?
Yeah, for myself, I was throwing a first pitch sinker right down the middle, and I was betting on myself, knowing that the action of my fastball was gonna, one, it was gonna be a strike. I wanted to be on the plate, but that the action would actually get a ground ball. Where somebody who wants to be aggressive, go ahead, swing at it, please. Like I wanted them to hit a ground ball to shortstop or third, or if it's a lefty, pulling it over to first base or second. So for me, like I always first pitch. If I was throwing a fastball, it was going to be a sinker that was going to start right down the middle and end up arm side. I wanted to entice them to swing. But so here's a situation where I didn't. I was facing Martin Prado. It was his third at bat. Now Martin Prado is known to swing at less than 5 first pitches a year. Like he's less than 1%. But the situation was starting to dictate where, like I said, it was his third at bat, 2 outs, runners on second and third, and our catcher put down a fastball, and I was like, you know what? Right now he's not going to take first pitch. He's going to be looking to jump something. Like I just have that feeling. And, that comes with just experience and being around. And so I said, you know what? He knows I'm going to throw a first pitch sinker. So I actually ended up throwing
Go ahead. So do all the apps even do first pitch bets like that? Eddie Perkins?
Well, I'm on FanDuel a lot more than I am any other site. I think DraftKings does. I'm not entirely sure for every game. But I'm also, here's a little caveat to this whole conversation. I'm in North Carolina and can't
It's
bet.
illegal.
So
Soccer.
I can't pull up the FanDuel stuff until I get home tomorrow.
I got you.
We're down here in Lake Gaston, so yeah, I can't exactly pull up the FanDuel numbers here, but that's something I could get back to you with for tomorrow afternoon. But as far as betting first pitch, man, it's really a shot in the dark because you just never know. You can hedge your bet with a strike or a ball because those are your most obvious hits. But it's not a bet that I'll play on every game. I'll look for the matchups. There's a couple websites I'll use as far as like they track the percentages of pitchers who throw certain pitches on first pitch, batters that swing first pitch, and if it's got a good hitter matchup, then I'll take their odds, and if it hits, great. If not, well, try again. Simply all it is when it comes to sports betting. It's play what you think is going to win, and if it does, great. If not, well, hopefully you didn't hurt yourself too bad.
So you betting on any college football?
I haven't yet. Nope. I actually, if I can get my get Sterling on here, he's the college football guy. He actually sent some parlays out last night in regards to opening day, and I'll tell you the one bad beat that I saw. He took Michigan. He had Michigan point spread at plus 29.5. I'm sorry, Michigan's point spread was minus 29.5. Michigan was given 30 points to win. They were playing East Carolina. And Michigan's up 30-0 in like the fourth quarter. And East Carolina goes on the field and kicks a helpless 3-point field goal.
Did he take Colorado over TCU?
Let me look at what he sent me. I'm not, hang on.
Because if he didn't, he lost all credibility right there.
Hang on. He only sent a couple. He only sent a couple parlays here. Let me see what he sent.
Bro,
he took.
After that game I just watched, I'm putting all my chips on Colorado right now, all of them. And then I saw a thing that Deion Sanders' son's getting mentored by Tom Brady. I knew that, but I bet that came back.
He did not send anything that involved Colorado and TCU.
Dude, that dude is nasty.
Yeah, he had a East Carolina and Michigan. He took Michigan minus 29.5, and East Carolina kicks a 3-point field goal late in the game to kill the 29.5, which that was the only bad beat that I saw that he sent. So that was a little frustrating, and those are the ones that you just can't help. Garbage time, kick a field goal just so we put a number on the scoreboard, and there goes the parlay. Garbage time.
Dude, they're one of their athletes, Travis Hunter. That dude is a beast. To play both ways like that, and corner is a hard position to play, and he's coming in, killing from both. That's unbelievable.
You see on Instagram, he put up there was a post where he said he wanted to play both ways, and Devontae Parker, the Patriots receiver, said, "I've seen you play cornerback. Pretty much sit down." And he just and then Travis Hunter goes out and just shuts it down at cornerback. But receiver and corner, you know what the endurance has got to take to do that? That's
a lot.
I mean, that's impressive, and that's we talked about two-way.
Sanders retreats back to the 32, drops the ball.
Let me get that.
All the people down him saying FC.
Can y'all see my screen?
Daddy saving them. Hey, y'all just watch them come out here and whoop one of y'all favorite teams. So stop down them.
Y'all still there?
People down him.
Yeah. Hey, we talk about these two-way guys, right? I'm gonna take this.
Y'all don't really watch football. I think y'all don't really watch football, but this guy, it's unbelievable. He's about to get paid.
First down,
he gets the lead. He's paid so much.
This time he finds Travis Hunter.
Hunter looking for the first down, picks his way forward and gets close to it, and he may have it. 3rd down and 3 yards to go from the 43. Sanders over the middle, first down. Colorado.
Honestly, I haven't really been paying that much attention to college. I mean, honestly, lately, sports in general, but that caught my eye because, dude, I've just been seeing them like pretty much calling their shot. Hey, go for it.
Speaking of football, Butler, did your draft ever get scheduled for tonight? I know it got pushed back, but
yeah, it got pushed back. So basically, the team I was playing with this year, they had a doubleheader today, and the first game they went extra innings, and then had a late start for the second game, and the guys popped up probably 20 minutes ago and said, "Hey, we're just gonna push it back to tomorrow."
Oh, all right, there you go.
So, is it fantasy football?
Yep, fantasy football. Yeah, team name
for
Butler's
NFL.
Hunters. Yeah.
So NFL, right? Just making
Yeah,
sure.
for the NFL.
Okay. So, I mean, who are you taking?
So it's between Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. You know, depending on where the first pick goes, I end up with the second pick in this draft. So once I go there, I'm not real sure. Just kind of see how things fall. Whether I hate taking a quarterback that early. You know, look at him in the 3rd round if he's still there. Or I'm looking.
You can give it a couple rounds for a quarterback.
But do you double up on Burrow and Chase if you get the option?
If you're in a PPR league, you it's smart. Yeah, if you can grab a duo, especially like Burrow and Chase, or Mahomes and Kelsey, or Tua and Waddle. It's if you're fortunate to make that work, sure. And it definitely has its advantages. But the other other side of that coin is you have to put yourself in a position to get both of those guys. And if not, do you have the depth to make a trade, with somebody in your league to go after a top end guy, like, whether it's the quarterback or receiver or whoever it is to do that. But those multi-talented running backs are also a huge Austin Eckler types, the guys that can put up 100 yards on the ground but can also put up 100 yards in the air. So those are the guys that you can just throw on the flex and let them go to work.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Since it's on record, I'm gonna run down the teams and I want y'all to pick who's winning.
You're gonna do the what now?
I'm gonna run down the teams that are playing this week, and I want you to tell me who's winning. Obviously, this is the Lions versus Chiefs. Thursday.
Lions, Chiefs, week 1?
Yeah.
Chiefs.
September 7th.
Yeah, it's got the Chiefs.
Yeah, for sure. Cardinals, Commanders, or Redskins, let's be honest.
Commanders.
Ooh.
Yeah. They're the favorite. They're the favorite right now.
New ownership.
Where's that?
I think it's at Washington.
Yeah, I'm going to ride the wave of they got a new ownership. They got, there's a lot of positive energy, I think, starting to surround them a little bit. I'm going to take the Commanders to kind of kick off the new age with a win.
I don't know. I'm going to go the other way. I want to say Cardinals, just because.
All right.
I mean, Commanders are favorite right now. So.
I mean, on paper, they should.
So, obviously, I'm taking Chiefs. Actually, I'm going Cardinals also. I don't like the Redskins.
Wait for them to change their name back before I start taking them.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Texans, Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah, they're favorite also. 49ers, Steelers.
Niners.
I hope the Niners win. One of my friends is a good Steelers fan. I just want them to lose. So, I'm going 49ers also. 49ers are too good. Buccaneers, Vikings.
Ooh.
I'm going to do something crazy here.
For the Bucs?
I was thinking the same thing.
Baker Mayfield.
Is Baker Mayfield start?
I think so, yeah. And I'm betting them. I want
I'm going Vikings, especially if I end up with Justin Jefferson.
Is it in Tampa Bay or Minnesota?
It's Vikings. Minnesota.
It's in Minnesota?
I'm going Bucs for that one.
I'll
I think I
take
might
the
actually
Vikings.
bet that one.
I'm gonna take the Vikings.
I was thinking Vikings.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm going Bucks that one. I think they're gonna win. And Vikings are favored. It's plus 205 for Bucks.
What's the spread?
6. Plus 6.
Fair enough. Touchdown.
Jags Colts.
Jags.
Yeah, Jags are favored. I think they're gonna win too. Titans Saints. That was pretty
Titans.
even actually.
I was kind of leaning Titans.
Titans are underdogs, not by much though. It's only plus 140. Panthers Falcons.
Can we throw that game away? Can we throw that game away? Somebody's got to win that game.
Who's the Panthers Falcons?
Falcons.
I think that they're both going to lose.
I don't even know who the quarterback is.
Actually, I think the Panthers are going to win. Actually,
Falcons.
I think the Panthers are going to win.
I
think that's kind of crazy, but
I'll go Panthers. I have no idea. That one's a toss-up.
Bengals Browns.
Bengals.
Yep. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Eagles Patriots.
Eagles
are good.
Yeah.
I'm a New England fan because of Brady, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Belichick pulls it off, though. I wouldn't be surprised.
No, he's known for stuff like that, but the Eagles' offense right now is tough.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts is good. Rams Seahawks.
Rams.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. They have Rams underdogs.
It's got to be Rams.
That's interesting. I wonder why.
What's that?
Rams are underdogs. That's weird.
Going against Geno Smith.
I haven't really paid that. I haven't watched anything about the Seahawks, so I don't even know if their team's any good right now. Packers Bears.
Is Jordan Love starting for them?
I think Packers? So. It's pretty split though. Honestly, there's not really.
That's a rivalry game.
Like Bears are favored, but
I'm gonna go.
It ain't even worth.
I'm gonna go Bears. It's a rivalry game. You got Justin Fields back there.
Got Rodgers out of there.
Rodgers isn't in Green Bay no more. I think the Bears. Take one early in the season.
In Chicago.
I'm going Bears.
Is it in Chicago? I think we lost him. No.
So what about Raiders Broncos?
Raiders and who?
Raiders Broncos.
Raiders.
Hey, those
are
my Broncos. I gotta go with my Broncos. I'm not betting against them.
I heard Tom Brady owns part of the Raiders now, so he can always just come off the stands, suit up.
He should own part of the Broncos since he's already mentoring Sanders.
Sanders. Oh.
Primetime's good.
Yeah, but that's in college though. So
I know, but he's already mentoring him. He plays for Colorado.
I don't think it's the same thing. Plus y'all got Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
he's doing great.
I know he's been good.
Cowboys
Giants. Slope. We're hoping there's
Cowboys.
Cowboys and who? It's gonna be Cowboys.
Giants.
Cowboys Giants. I mean, hey, that's a division
Cowboys.
game. Ooh, this is a good one. Bills Jets. Jets have Aaron Rodgers.
Oh man, I gotta go Buffalo. I
don't care. I think Aaron Rodgers is. Aaron Rodgers got a chip on his shoulders.
Aaron
Rodgers has a chip on his shoulder.
Aaron Rodgers has all the hype behind him. Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall. I just don't think that Jets defense is able to slow down what Josh Allen and the Bills offense has. I'm sure it'll be a better game than the Jets have put on in the past, but I think the Bills are going to take care of business.
Yeah, that's September 11th. They got a little bit. But all right. All right. I'm not y'all on social media a lot. Have you seen
You didn't ask about the Dolphins-Chargers game, bro.
I didn't even see him up there.
That one on purpose.
On purpose, for sure.
Dolphins. Oh yeah, funny.
Charger.
I only mentioned important games.
Fins up, bro.
I mean,
Hey, y'all are underdogs. Are you taking them?
Just because.
Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins.
Taking the Dolphins. Yeah, but I don't even know if the Chargers are any good.
Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl this year. What are you talking about?
Bro, you've said that
every year.
For a long time.
It's going to happen.
This is back when, like, the last 20 years when Brady was in the same division. He's
been saying that since Dan Marino was there.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Oh, man.
It's going to happen. No, it's going to come down to the Dolphins-Bills.
Yeah. So let's switch it up. About boxing. Have you seen that over the internet, like Logan Paul, Dylan Danis? Like, I know, like, it's like fake boxing, but whatever. It's still kind of funny. Have you seen all their stuff on the internet? Do you know who Logan Paul is?
Yes, I know who Logan Paul is.
No, I meant Eddie because Perkins. You know who he is?
I know who Logan Paul is. I just don't follow a lot of boxing, so you're going to lose me on this one for a little while.
Well, he's not really a boxer. He's like a YouTuber. He's just it's like exhibition against like one of Conor McGregor's friends. But they've gotten like this kind of gone off the rails. They're saying all kinds of stuff.
Serious promoters.
Yeah. They bring in girlfriends, wives, everything. Like it's a ruthless game. I'm like, dang. Like the Logan's opponent is throwing like every picture of his now fiance with every guy she's ever posted with for like probably the entire time on social media. Like all of them are out there. I'm like, oh my gosh. But hey, it's a fight game. You're going to beat each other up, so I guess there's no rules. So I don't know. But it's a ruthless game, I guess. But I kind of want both of them to lose almost. Like Logan, like he scammed people out like in crypto, and then I don't have nothing against Dylan, but I mean it seems that everyone wants to beat him up. So
simultaneous knockout.
Yeah. I feel like that's like the perfect fight because everyone like wants to see both of them get knocked out. So it's like you can't lose. Like whatever happens. I don't know.
Call it a draw. Seems rocky. But
so kind of just to bring everything together, I know we talked about like mainly baseball, sports, and all that stuff, but I did have one kind of like question back from earlier. We talked about the minor leagues. Do you feel like I know the minor leagues players aren't making very much money, and I'm really big into business and finance. Do you feel like the owners are just making a tons of money off like paying these people cheap baseball or cheap salaries? Do you feel like the owners of the single A, triple A are just cashing in?
Yeah, if you look at like the growth of baseball, like the amount of money that the owners are making compared to the amount of money they're paying out, like, is exponential. You know, especially with the growth and all the TV deals and this and that. Like, I'm trying to remember the astronomical numbers, but they're getting paid. I think the owners are making like 370% more, but they're only paying out like 20% more.
Yeah,
like it's some
and based on
huge number.
Based on volume, like football you play like a certain amount of games. Baseball, was it like 80 something? Like how many is it in a season?
We play 162.
162 games.
Yep. Play for 8.5 months basically.
So let's say half of those are home or whatnot.
Yeah, you play 81 games at home, 81 on the road.
Even if you fill up half the stadium, you gotta be killing it. Even if football and basketball are only doing like basketball kind of a lot of games too, but even football, you just sell out really quick. That's got to be volume though. Like they got to be killing it.
Yeah, I mean, if you get like think about a team that sells out, like the Cardinals, right? The Cardinals sell out. They hold 48,000. Say each one of those tickets is $20. I mean, you're talking $1 million right there. That's just on one game's ticket sales. That's not counting beers. That's not counting parking. That's not counting anything else. No memorabilia. That's $81 million roughly, and that's on a $20 average, which is probably way low.
I have a question. So let's take the Rockies for instance. Like you got the major league team up here.
Yeah.
Do they own all single A, double A, triple A franchise of that? So that's technically 4 teams, 4 different stadiums. Do they own all that, and that's all comes up from up top, or you have individual owners and they just get like percentages?
It varies by team. So the Rockies, like when I went and played for Grand Junction Rockies, they owned that team. But now that team is now no longer an affiliated baseball. It's an independent league. So I think they've sold ownership because the name has changed at this point.
Yeah.
But, they were looking at trying to buy other teams, but they don't. They basically run like 10-year deals, 8, 10. Some places are, longer standing, so they do longer deals basically to rent the stadium out and to house their players. But then you look at like the Dodgers. The Dodgers own almost all of their affiliates. So like they own the Tulsa Drillers, they own Oklahoma City. I think they own Ogden, which actually they probably don't own Ogden anymore because that's no longer affiliated. But I mean they wanted to own as many of their affiliates as they could because I mean you're gonna make money off the same names, right? I mean you're gonna draft this guy, he's got all his value. Well, if you can start getting that value out of him from the day he starts playing for you, then you're gonna make a lot more money.
Yeah, because I was curious because, like, okay, let's say they're all 3 different owners, right? And if the guy on single A, he probably doesn't want that guy to go to double A because he doesn't make that money. So why wouldn't he try to keep him as long as he can, even if, like, reasons because maybe he uses his name to sell his tickets, he hits home runs, so they want to keep him there for as long as you can. Like you would think financially that's what you would want if you don't benefit from the top end.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, with those guys and, like, say, ownership that is not owned by the team, like, they have no real say as to, like, what players you have, what sort of team you're putting out there. Like, so for an owner to make money, like, you don't even know if your team's going to be good. Like, you have no idea what your team's going to look like day to day because you have no say in it. So that part kind of sucks for them. But you're getting paid to use the facilities and all that, and you're making money off the names that are there.
That's true. Yeah, even I mean, obviously, even the real estate, like you got the Tide Stadium around here. I mean, they do pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people go to those. So, I mean, it's got to be that real estate they're sitting on. They're trying to get a hotel over there, or not a hotel, casino.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a gold mine. So I don't know.
Kind of tying in with that, this is the last year of their contract with the Orioles.
What do you mean?
So this is the last
really?
year that so there's talk that kind of like a little bit of rumor here or there that they may not re-up anything and they may just try to demolish that stadium to put the casino there. I mean, think about that, all that waterfront,
Yeah, but I kind of like the whole casino, baseball, go across. I think that was been
it would be
cool.
nice to
whatever.
keep that. But I don't know. Like, again, that's waterfront property. How much money could a casino make on that piece of property as opposed to what the baseball team is going to make?
Well, I know like Rivers made however amount of millions in a week, so.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you put, again, another casino right there on the waterfront. You put hotels in there now because you're on the waterfront. It's going to make bukus just so much freaking money. But, yeah, you give up having a professional baseball team to make tons and tons of money.
Yeah. One thing you mentioned that I mean, not many people know. I didn't know like MLB like does 401k and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like, I didn't know that was the thing. Did you know that going in, or it is kind of like, oh, hey, it's kind of like?
No, it was something that like when I got tied up with my financial advisor, he's like, hey, we're gonna max this out every year possible because the team is matching X number of dollars, dollar for dollar, and so basically I put in everything I could to max it out for try to keep money for later on down the road because like you say, you don't know how long you're gonna play for. I was lucky enough to play parts of 5 years in the big leagues. So,
Yeah.
you know, I have a decent amount of money, but I put away as much as I could at the same time.
They don't really because you know how like the big thing for like even like athletes is like you always hear athletes like go broke, and I've heard like stories is like athletes like blowing money at the casino, not us, but in Vegas and like just blowing it all and losing it all. Like that's what you always hear. Was that like in your mind that like, hey, I don't want to be one of those people? Like,
yeah, for sure. I mean, like it was in conversations I had with my parents and my financial guy, agent, like talk about ways to save it because again, you don't know how long you have. You don't know where your next check's going to be. I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, look at Ohtani, right? He just blew out his elbow for a second time. They're talking about, he may not pitch ever again. This is a dude that was about to make $500-600 million as a two-way player, as one of the best players ever, and now you're talking about because he had an injury, he may not pitch ever again. So I mean, think about the potential money he's going to miss out on.
I have this. If I could show you my screen, I have
that's too bad.
You have just scratched the surface of what I wanted to talk about.
I know we just lost Perkins toward the end, but is there anything else like you want to?
Just
obviously this podcast is gonna be.
I'm right here.
Perkins,
can you hear us?
Yeah. Perkins
still here the whole time.
Oh really? He's gone on my screen.
Hey,
you still there, Perkins?
Hey, are you? I've never left.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, I got both.
I've heard you the whole time.
Oh wow, that's weird.
He's heard you the whole time. He's been talking and everything, interacting.
I haven't heard one thing he said for a while.
So, on the Ohtani
don't feel offensive. I haven't responded to some of your stuff.
Are you about to wrap up, Tyler?
That's interesting.
He's asking if you're about to wrap up because he was like, I got a couple things to say about
Ohtani. Hear me at all?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't hear you at all.
What?
No, you tell him he can go ahead. I think
go ahead.
I think it'll be in there. I'll add it.
Go ahead, Perk.
So you just scratched the surface on Ohtani, and I've had this written up since this was going to be one of my talking points. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and actually right before we got cut off last time, I had just dropped the ball on it. If you're about to wrap up, Tyler, we can definitely dive into this whole Ohtani thing on the next episode because this is a very deep, in-depth conversation talking about player money, injuries, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff already written up that we can talk about. But this is that we would definitely add a whole nother 45 minutes of this conversation if I dive into this right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a good way to wrap up the night.
We'll wrap up.
Talking about talking about contracts and injuries and how those kind of go together, especially with Ohtani and stuff like that. Diving into that much more next time.
We'll kind of
definitely have to get a better internet connection also.
Yeah, better internet connection helps.
we can tie this all together.
All right. Till next time.
What the? This is so annoying, man. Oh, when did he lose me?
He said, how long?